Everybody, welcome back to another episode of DeLorean Tech and another Bring a Trailer auction live stream. So today we've got a 1983. This is a really clean 83, and it's already up to 52,088. Okay, and we've got about a little less than an hour to go. And let's go ahead and take a look at this car. So I'll bring the chat in too. There's a few of you guys already on the chat. I don't know if Chris will be able to join us this time around. This is not exactly the perfect day. They've been having these on the weekend, which worked out for me most of the time. Today it just happens to work out because I actually took the day off. I literally just got back home today. I was in Indio for a concert. It was Power Trip, and that was a really awesome music festival. But anyway, I'm back home. I almost missed this one. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it back in time. But here we are. And I've got the chat going as well. So let's take a look at this 83. Again, very clean looking car. 20,000 miles. It's being sold by the Garage Collective in San Diego, here in California. 5-speed, manual transmission. Let's see here. I haven't had a whole lot of time to look at this as well, but it is on consignment. One of the things that I asked for, of course, as always, is a driving video. I don't think we got that, though. They have a startup video and like a walk around, all that kind of stuff, but there isn't a driving video, so that just sort of threw up a red flag, right? I mean, it may not mean anything, but you know, it's just one of those things that if there's no driving video, you're probably going to get less interest. Although 52,000 is pretty good. It's a lot. That's actually higher than what the last one sold for about a week ago. And that one was an automatic. This is obviously being a manual, a little bit more sought after. I don't know how much more this is going to go for compared to what we had last week. So 52,000. This might go for somewhere in the 60s. It is very clean. Lower miles. I mean, it's 20,000 miles. Versus the other one, I think that was over 50,000 miles, something like that. But really, it doesn't make that much of a difference here. So anyway, let's take a look at this. It's all original. So you have, original fuel lines, original plastic coolant, overflow bottle. You've got the stove pipe, all that usual stuff, right? You got the de-icer plate, which is, 83 sort of specific. The undercarriage looks okay. I don't know if this has been a California car from the beginning. He's got a... Let's take a look at this video he's got. So he's got a startup, walk around video. Let's see if we can crank it up here. Hopefully we can. I don't know if we'll be able to hear it, but we'll see. So it looks alright. Everything seems to open up okay. For some reason the sound isn't working, but whatever. There we go. Let's go back and listen to that startup. It's too bad we don't have a driving video. So he's just proving that it's, I guess it's a cold startup. Come on, let's go. Yeah, it sounds okay. Doesn't sound too bad. Let's take a look at this engine here. Unfortunately, no driving video. It is what it is. We're at 54,083. Makes sense. 45 minutes to go. Let's take a look at some of these photos here. It shows really well. It's got the new looks like it's got the new hand cooks on there. Yeah, those are the new hand cooks on there. Body looks really nice. You know, it's an 83, so you're gonna get very nice car here. These 83s compared to some of the 81s out there. A lot of the kinks were worked out from the get-go on these low-mile cars. When you see the 81s, low miles, a lot of kinks probably weren't worked out. So then that's why you have a lot of issues there. But these 83s, a good majority of those have already been sorted, and you don't have some of the same issues that you do with the 81s. Now, obviously, a lot can happen in 40 years, right? So everything looks pretty good from the front end here. There might be some scratches on the hood. Looks very original. Obviously, the doors open up pretty okay. Garage Collective, that is the seller. We've got quite a few photos on here as well. So they're not giving out the license plate number. We'll check the VIN here in a moment. I want to say it was 16. It was pretty close to mine, relatively speaking. Very nice. I don't know what sort of, like, if they're offering any kind of warranty or some kind of guarantee on it. It's on consignment is all. So I don't know the details there. I got some hood issues going on here. At least that's what it looks like. A little bit of corrosion down here in the suspension and the radiator brackets. Body looks pretty straight. Don't notice any dents or anything. It's just a couple little superficial things here and there. Wheels look nice. Yeah, everything looks in order here. Well, nice interior. You gotta admit that interior definitely shows off very nicely. Again, all original. A little bit of browning here and there, you can kind of see it, but that's just sort of pretty common with, especially if we're talking about the original interior. And over the years, interiors were replaced with new old stock interior parts, so that was sort of how they maintained the car. I know my car had gone through a few seats, at least one set of seats, and some of the carpeting and the floor mats and stuff were replaced over time. So it's got a little bit of dirt going on here on these door sills. So those aren't showing all that great. But other than that, the interior does look pretty nice. So in the chat, what do you guys think? Let me know what you guys think about this car and what you ultimately think it will land at. If we're going to go past 60 with this thing, or if we're going to settle maybe in the mid to high 50s. It is a manual transmission. Very nice looking interior. Undercarriage looks pretty good. There's not a whole lot of corrosion issues. A lot of superficial here and there. That's fairly common with these cars. It's got the original ASI radio in there. Got 20,461 miles on it. Yeah, it's very much like my car. Almost the same exact thing. Original floor mats on there as well. I took a lot of good photos here. The headliner looks pretty decent. Now we're on the bonnet. That looks okay. Could have cleaned that up a little bit, I guess. Maybe a little bit of vacuuming. It is what it is. Very original. Engine compartment also very original. So again, I don't know why they don't have a driving video. When I asked for it probably a week ago, they did respond and say it was coming, but then they also mentioned something about being restricted to driving it. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I'd be surprised if that's really true. Just at least something, right? Just showing the car driving around. It really shouldn't be an issue with these things here, these cars. Got the original cooling fans in there, original suspension. So you've got what appears to be the original frame extension in the front, because you've got the black underspray that they did at the docks. That's all there as well. That's why you don't have a gray epoxy. The epoxy's there. You got a lot of scrapage going on here as well. But for the 83s, they sprayed the body with a protective coating to prevent corrosion, because they were storing these near the docks in Northern Ireland. So nothing too nothing noticeable here that draws my attention. It's just we got some leakage going on back here. Obviously, oil pan leaking. It's gonna have to be taken care of. So this is VIN 16204. So pretty close to mine. Mine's 16109. So within 100. Very nice car. So that's it for the photos. Let's take a look and see what we got in the chat here. And then also down here in the comments, I noticed a bunch of stuff in the comments. We're still at 54,083. And so Vitor Bendy, original parts of the motor. Yes, original, very original 83, which is fine. I remember when I got mine 5 years ago, it was very original. The reason why is because the original owner of my car was a Concours competitor, so they kind of had to keep it more original. Because of that, you lose points if you start changing parts out and stuff like that. So they wanted to make sure that they were getting the maximum pointage in their Concours shows. They stopped showing the car like well before I ended up buying it, but they did, held off on doing any upgrades of anything like the fuel system and things like that, mainly to maintain the originality. A lot of the stuff can be replaced pretty easily, like the fuel lines, fuel pump, and things of that nature. Things that you really need to replace, like the coolant overflow bottle, stuff like that. That's fairly simple. All right, here, take my money. So Ben 10. There's nothing broken on the car. Yeah, no, for sure. It's not. There's really nothing of concern. Lamborghini, no Porsche. DeLorean, yes. 16. So 16650 here and watching. Hey, welcome to the chat, everyone, and let me know what you guys think as far as like where this car will land. If you think it's going to break 60 or not. We're at 54. And we've got more than a half an hour left before this thing is all said and done. Let's take a look at some of this. Okay, does it include a flux capacitor? Gotta love it, right? All right. There's a little bit of fighting going on in the comment section here in the auction. It's always fun to read some of this stuff. I think our buddy Merck is in here as well. He's the guy who keeps saying, yeah, don't change your fuel lines and don't change any of the original stuff on the car. You can drive the car with that stuff on borrowed time and maybe nothing will happen, but why take the chance, right? The other thing too is if you wanted to show this, in a concours show, you can maintain, or you can keep the original parts and bring those with you to the show. You can display them in the bonnet or something. I've seen that where folks will bring in like their original like radio or something, right? Or the original Ducelier alternator, and they'll put that on display. Say, hey, look, I've got all the original parts, and usually they don't dock too much when you do that. I think they still subtract out points unless it's a safety upgrade, like the fuel lines or like the coolant overflow bottle. So let's see what we got here. So there's somebody named Time Travel on here as well. So he's a DeLorean owner for the past 25 years. When the part breaks, I replace it. In the meantime, we drive it. Well, so preventative maintenance is also very important. A lot of these guys, or at least a couple of these guys that show up every now and then, only replace parts when they break. Well, that's probably a good thing to do, right? But not always. Only when they break, right? Some of the stuff is risky to just keep in the car, like the original fuel lines. We've seen fires, stuff like that happen. Known failure points that do need to be addressed on the car. It's really just peace of mind, right? Unless you don't really plan on driving the car that much. I like driving my car, and I like knowing that I can take it to Vegas and back from LA to Vegas without any issues, right? I don't need to worry about anything. Except just, people wanting to see the car. And that's really the only thing. So you can see there's some fighting going on here, or banter, whatever it is. So our buddy Merc here, he's the guy who likes to just, I think the only thing he's done with his car is he's changed the original NCTs out. That's all he's done. So he's been lucky. More power to him. But I am of the mindset replacing, upgrading parts, all the electronics. And really the car is not that complicated. It's a pretty simple car, right? And there's so many opportunities to improve the DeLorean out there available right now, that to sort of ignore that, and again, if you want to be able to drive your car a lot, right, you don't want to ignore that stuff. It really just makes a big difference, and I have no regrets as far as upgrading and replacing parts on my car. It really just improves the overall experience. And if I come across a part where I replace it and it doesn't work out, I just put the old one back in, maybe find something else, right? But I haven't had to do that, especially with stuff like the Dave McKean electronics. Never had any issues. I had one issue one time where the fan relay melted on me. The Dave McKean fan relay melted. And that was, looking back on that, I had not replaced the ground bus. So that ground wire can really heat up, right? So I replaced that. I upgraded it. I did go with Dave McKean's ground bus with a little DeLorean Tech spin on it, and that's a video that we have, a Get Grounded. I think it's Get Grounded 4, something like that, where we replaced the ground bus on the car. That made a massive difference because I did check temperatures in the relay compartment, and it went down considerably. So if you're replacing the relays, that's one thing, but you can't ignore that ground. Right, that relay ground bus that's in the back that needs to be addressed. So there's a lot of stuff like that. What I did when that relay melted, I just pulled out one of the original Bosch relays and put it back in there. So you always got to keep little spares on hand because you never know what's going to happen, right? But it's a learning process, and that's the whole point of my channel is to pass on what I've learned about my car over the years and the upgrades that I've done, mishaps that may have happened here and there. Fortunately, it's been very, very minimal. I've had really no major issues. So we're at 55,083. Let's see if we can keep that 83 going. So let's take a look at these bidders here. So J-Lock, that really sounds familiar. And a couple other bidders here, Jason and this guy, ABC. So J-Lock might have bid on the last one. Let's take a look. See what we have. That name just sounds familiar to me. I don't know why. So he's won. A lot of stuff. I feel like we've seen this guy before. So, has he bid on any other DeLoreans? Yes, he has. Yep. So that last week, he bid on the 81 automatic. So now he's looking for a win on this car here. He only bid up to 46,250, and now he's at 55,000 on this car right here. $55.83 by J-Lock. So hopefully he gets it. This looks to me like he's got quite a collection, and all he needs to round that collection off is a DeLorean. Probably the apex of any car collection. So Big Sarge is online. Hey, Big Sarge, how's it going, man? Appreciate all your support. November 5th, 1955. Speaking of November 1955, we actually have a DeLorean Tech event on November 12th, 1955, or 2023 in this case. And we're calling this event Driving the Dream, and it is in celebration of the DeLorean Tech 5th anniversary. So we started the channel 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago. I started the channel before I bought my car. I really didn't intend to start a YouTube channel on DeLoreans, but I thought it might be kind of interesting to just post some videos just to help others out. I know there was a lot of other videos on YouTube before I started my channel, so I figured, hey, I'd just maybe contribute in some way to the community. Didn't realize that I was going to do a full-fledged YouTube channel. It just kind of got fun for me, and I just kind of enjoyed doing it. Anyway, let's take a look here. So we're still at 55,000. We got a little over half an hour to go. And I'm going to predict that this thing may hit about 60,000. That's my prediction. It's a nice car, relatively low miles, 20,000 miles on it. It looks clean. I mean, for all original stuff, this actually does look pretty clean here in the engine compartment. And like I said before, the interior is very nice. This is actually a very decent example of a car here. It wouldn't take much to get this thing driving on the road. Again, I'm a little confused as to why there is no driving video, and maybe I need to comment. So I did. There's a lot of comments on this thing, so we're gonna take a look at these. We appreciate your patience as we looked into this. Upon re-examination of the vehicle, we have confirmed that it does not feature DMC's electronic PS upgrade kit. Okay. So they were talking about the power steering, which, that's not a deal breaker. It's kind of cool. I know guys have gotten it. I thought about getting it. I might get it at some point in time. It's just not a priority right now. I just need to get to replacing one of the axle boots, CV axle boots, on the driver's side. So I'll probably do a video on that, hopefully soon. Let's see here. Oh, Bring a Trailer's commenting on these off-topic comments. So again, there's a lot of a lot of guys, a lot of spirited commenters on here. Deconstructive comments. And okay, here we go. So I did actually ask for a driving video. He did say, so Garage Collective said that we're on it. Our in-house film team is gathering that now. Our insurance doesn't cover driving the vehicle out of the space. Well, that sucks. for the seller, he could have gotten a lot more. If you had a nice, decent driving video, and why didn't he make one before? I mean, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. It is what it is. I guess if you don't want to get top dollar for your car, yeah, just don't put a driving video in. I mean, that makes a big difference. Startup, kind of gets you there. At least the car starts up. But as far as driving it around, that's a big miss there. Our insurance doesn't cover it. So we try our best to get a driving video made with our client in the coming days. So they apparently that didn't happen. I mean, I'm not seeing a driving video here. Whatever happened with the driving video? Is it at Garage Collective? Is that the... Yeah. Very curious about that. I really, to me, there's like literally no excuse. If this is a driving car, you kind of want to show it. You don't want to leave people wondering, hey, I wonder how it drives. I mean, it's already at 55,000. I mean, that, I don't know. I just don't get it sometimes. Right? And again, and this is Garage Collective, right? I guess maybe they're just hoping that their name will sell this thing. But I've seen cars, buyers have reached out to me from past Bring a Trailer auctions that what they ultimately got and what they bid on were not exactly the same thing as far as drivability of the car and et cetera, et cetera. So you got to be careful with these. Whenever I see a no driving video, I don't care who's got it listed, right? And, if Garage Collective is a big outfit down in San Diego, there's no excuse to not have one, right? For me, it doesn't matter. It could be DeLorean, Florida, or DeLorean Midwest. They should have a driving video. Those guys more than likely would have one, right? It makes sense. Something, right? So there's no excuse for not having a driving video. He did have the startup. That's cool, but not good enough. All right, so we're at 5683. So we're making the ascent to 60,000. And this is currently the only DeLorean on Bring a Trailer right now. And hopefully the seller will get back to us on that. I have not had any time. Like I said, I was out of town for the past few days celebrating over at Power Trip, but now we're back to reality here, and let's see. Just figured as an owner, I guess my opinion should matter considering the statements of the other two owners that are commenting. I purchased my car, very similar condition to this one from DMC, Florida. 26,000 miles. Fuel lines were already done. I agree with the statements being made about not fixing things that are still working. However, there are two instances on these cars that can contribute to catastrophic failure. Absolutely agree with DeLorean fan here. You don't want to take a chance here on a 40-year-old car. You don't really know the full history. I mean, none of the photos for this car include any documentation or anything. I don't know if there is documentation. We can go back up and look in the description to see if that was there. We've got 22 minutes left in this auction. Fuel lines, trailing arm bolts, those are the two, right? So trailing arm bolts, that's definitely a failure point. We already had talked about the overflow bottle. If both are original, then whoever wins can simply get in contact with another owner in their city, buy the parts, grab a case of adult beverages, and make new friends. Yeah, exactly. So the fuel lines and the trailing arm bolts, they're not too hard to replace on the car. I did mine with the help of my good friend Chris Miles, and it was not a big deal. So, and that's insurance for sure. A lot of guys, well, not a lot of guys, but apparently a couple guys here on Bring a Trailer love to live dangerously. Hey, if that's your thing, I just don't recommend following that sort of advice. I think it's dangerous. It's risky. If both were original, then whoever wants to get in contact. Yeah, I mean, the community's out there, right? So the community's very supportive for the most part, right? If that city happens to be Las Vegas, even better. Just reply here and I will take care of you. Good luck with the auction. I'm excited to see. Yeah, so Vegas, the Las Vegas DeLorean Club. A lot of good guys in that club that support other owners, right? So it's always good to sort of be close to, a DeLorean club if you're an owner. Of course, that's not always the case. So it looks like Merc and Time Travel are the ones that just don't believe in upgrading the part. And these guys, they may be, maintaining their car meticulously, right? And they're comfortable running the original parts, the original trailing arm bolts, maybe the original plastic coolant bottle, the original fuel lines, right? And are constantly looking and inspecting to make sure the stuff isn't failing or going to fail. But for your everyday guy out there that wants a car like this, I honestly recommend doing the upgrades that make sense, that the DeLorean community unanimously has pointed out these failure points, right? Because it's just not worth the risk. So we're at 56.83 and we've got about 20 minutes left. And I had wanted to get Chris Miles on the call, but he's at work. This is a Monday. This is not exactly the best day for a Bring a Trailer auction live stream. Although 56,000 is not a bad price for the seller here. I don't know ultimately where this will go. I'm pretty sure it will move a little bit more as we get towards the final moments. How much? I don't know. That remains to be seen. Alright, so let's see here. How much is it to restore a DeLorean Vitor Bendy? It depends. If you take your car, you buy a car like this, right, and you take it to DMC Florida or DMC Houston, DMC California, they're going to go through this car and they're going to list out every single thing that needs to be replaced. And I've seen estimates as high as over $50,000 for that. For just cumulatively the entire thing to restore. Now, what does that really mean, though, right? Restoring the car. Personally, if I were to take a car like this over there, or at least get somebody to do some restoration, the reality is that you just need to address the stuff that is still original, that can be risky or dangerous, safety issues, things like that, and make that a priority, right? And see where that takes you. So the fuel system definitely needs to be addressed on this car. The trailing arm bolts at a minimum need to be inspected. The bushings, the trailing arm bolt bushings need to be inspected as well. Then you got to address the coolant overflow bottle, which is still the plastic one. And the car sounded okay when it was running. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary there. Of course, we don't have a driving video, so there's still that uncertainty with a car like this. Just because it's being sold by Garage Collective doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? It could be sold by anyone. If there's no driving video, for me, that's a deal breaker. I would never buy a car unless it was a really low, for a low price. But here we are at 56,000. There's no driving video. That's unfortunate. But it is what it is. You take your chances. Maybe it'll drive great. Let's kind of read this description here to find out what we have. It's on consignment. The usual stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Cabin. Same old stuff. 20,000 miles. So the coolant temperature gauge reads hot according to the selling dealer. There's really nothing here. I mean, it just doesn't really say anything. It says black side stripes and moldings. What does that even mean? Black side stripes. I don't see the side stripes. That maybe they meant the moldings, the body moldings along here, the rub strips. Didn't mention anything about the AC or anything. There's very little details on the car. No driving video. Those are some red flags to me. So if you're gonna bid on this, okay, so the seller has responded here. This card, oh, there's a DOA card here, is not included with the car, as it is a family heirloom that the sellers would like to keep. However, check out this neat Owners Association card they found. Okay, well that's cool, but guess what would be even neater? A driving video. Okay, so that's kind of a nice little novelty thing here, but the reality is that in the end, it would be better if we had something, to judge this car on. A DOA card from the owner. That's neat, but how about that driving video, Garage Collective? Chris Zimmerman, how's it going, Chris? Fuel lines were the first thing I replaced on mine. The peace of mind is worth it, absolutely. And maybe the fuel lines, the original fuel lines, will never fail, right? You may be one of those lucky owners and they'll never fail. But the reality is if you're like me and many other DeLorean owners, you tend to worry about the car, just things that could go wrong. That's a big thing that could go wrong with the car. And to have to worry about that all the time while you're driving it, not knowing what's going to happen, right? It's not worth it. Some guys maybe just like to live dangerously and they just don't care. They got that fire extinguisher behind the seat, if they even carry one. I got two in my car, one behind the seat and one in the bonnet. Always filled up, always make sure that they're ready to go. Even though I've changed out every fuel system component on the car, that can be easily changed out, right? Hey, it's Russ. How's it going, Russ? Glad you can make it to the live stream here. I know you said you'd like to have a DeLorean in '83. This is not a bad example here. And unfortunately, it doesn't have a driving video associated with it. As I keep pointing out, that's really my only, issue with this particular one. The car looks great. It shows really nice. But without a driving video, I would proceed with caution on stuff, because I've just seen too many of these auctions. The cars were just not quite what the winners of the auctions had in mind when they bid on these things, and the stuff was just not mentioned. I remember one car that a guy in Florida won. I think he paid a little over $50,000 for it. It was just ridiculous. Like the fuel pump was literally just kind of, it wasn't sealed onto the gas tank. It was just kind of like laying in there. It was like, what the heck is going on here? So that was just ridiculous. Just weird stuff like that you find out when you get the car and you're like, what is going on here? So lack of a driving video is a massive red flag. Like I keep saying, it doesn't matter who's listing the car. If it were me and I were listing a car, you damn right I would have a driving video. I would have multiple driving videos of the car. I want to make sure that whoever's going to bid on my DeLorean knows that this car drives. And if it doesn't drive and it has issues, I would show that too, right? So, don't know what's going on here. Let's see here. GTI Jason. Let's take a look at this guy. So he won. Well, he bid the 16 on this one here. Oh, he listed this. Okay, I guess. Yeah, he's got one listing here. That was a few years ago. He's bid on this one, a few other cars. Got some comments. Not a whole lot of activity for him. So Russ is saying he carries 2 fire extinguishers ever since I came across a car on fire by the side of the road. Yeah, exactly. Any car, that could happen with any car, I guess, depending on what the situation is, really. But we do know that those fuel lines can lead to a fire. We've seen it before. So fire extinguishers, absolutely a must, even if you have changed out and addressed the fuel system and the fuel hoses in the back. Bringing a fire extinguisher in the car. They fit pretty good behind the seat and also in the bonnet as well. So 2 is always better than just keeping 1, because you never know, right? It may fail, it may not work. Or you might need 2 to put out the fire if you don't carry a really big one. Those small fire extinguishers, I would be careful with those. If you're just going to have 1 of those in there, it may not be enough to put out a fire. Either a really like a bigger one, or maybe 2 would be the way to go. I just carry 2 around with me, and make sure that you replace those when they're supposed to be replaced. So Chris is saying, yes, I agree with adding driving videos. If it's good runner, it can only help the sale. Exactly, right? And you wanna be transparent, right? with your bidders out here, right? You want to make sure that, hey, we're not hiding anything. And I didn't read all of the comments. There's just a lot of banter going on here, a lot of back and forth with some of these guys. You got the fuel line, the original fuel line guys, and then you got everybody else, right? The the rational people, kind of going at it like you usually see on Bring a Trailer. It is what it is. It's like going into a bar, and you're just like, okay. But anyway, a lot of guys wondering about the flux capacitor, so you got those guys too. You never know who you're going to meet, but you can kind of predict going into one of these Bring a Trailer auctions. You got the usual crowd in here. Do not purchase this car if you are shy, bashful, introverted, or just want to be left alone. There's some truth to that. Because you are gonna, people are gonna walk up to you, and they're gonna want to know about the car or whatever, and you will get a lot of attention. So if you don't like attention, I still wouldn't say, hey, don't get one. It's just you're just gonna have to start getting used to it. That's the thing. And maybe if you're a shy, bashful, introverted individual, maybe owning a DeLorean is exactly what you need, right? It comes with the territory. Whenever somebody wants to, look at the car, ask questions, and I'm always open to that, right? And a lot of it has to do with, I like, showing the car off to people, I like sharing the car with others. The other thing too is that I don't want to give DeLorean owners a bad reputation. I don't want to contribute to a negative reputation when it comes to DeLorean owners, because we do actually own the most iconic car on the face of the planet. So, we kind of have to behave at a certain standard, I think, and that standard needs to be relatively high. So anyway, there's that, right? Everybody knows the DeLorean, right? I mean, it's amazing how many people, young, old, right, know the car. It is a very iconic vehicle, and it comes with the territory. So I think this guy, Time Travel, he's saying don't get it if you're that way. I would argue, no. I mean, if you want a DeLorean, it doesn't matter what your personality is like, or anything of that nature. Don't let that stand in the way of your dream if owning a DeLorean is your dream, right? You will, if you're planning on driving it, you're going to get attention. That's just how it is, right? Let's see what else he says. These cars, more than any other sports car I've driven, I agree with that, will draw a crowd anywhere, anytime you go. Remember, you will own a very real piece of automotive and Hollywood history. Absolutely. And that, my dear friends, is why DeLorean owners smile ear to ear. Yes. If you don't like attention, it may not be the best car in the world for you. If you've always had your heart set and get into the DeLorean, don't let that stand in the way. Okay, don't let that stand in the way. You may find that a DeLorean is going to be your best friend. You can go out together, right? It'll draw a crowd. And if you are one of these shy, bashful, introverted people, it may help you, right? Get past that kind of stuff if that's a challenge for you. So anyway, there's not a whole lot of commenting going on right now. Not a lot of activity. We're at a little over 5 minutes here, and we're still stuck at $56,000. So it's going to get interesting here in a few minutes, I believe. So we have still the same guys here. Garage Collective didn't address my question about the driving video. Let's take a look at you. They got 3 live auctions going on right now. And let's see here. Yeah, quite a variety of stuff going on. A DeLorean and newer Alfa Romeo. That's a nice looking car. And they got a 66 Chevy C10. Let's take a look at this. Oh, they got a driving video for that car. Huh, interesting. So they have a driving video for your new Alfa Romeo, but you don't have a driving video for your DeLorean. Why not? I wonder if I can edit my comment. I don't think you can. You know what? Screw it. Oh, you know what? I wonder if they have one for the C10 as well. $50,000 on this one. Ends in 3 days. It's a nice car. Yeah, they don't have a driving video on the C10 either. Well, it is what it is. And we'll have to take a look at that driving video before I make a remark. I don't know if that might not even be the the actual car here. This might be just a test drive and review. It might be the car. It's kind of hard to say. Three. $56,583, so went up $500. It didn't refresh, but anyway, so let's take a look at this really quick. So we got a driving video on this one here. So they've had driving videos before on some of their cars. Some of them looks like they don't. Maybe they just sell so many cars they just don't care. You know, maybe they just don't have their heart set on getting a top dollar for the car. It's on consignment. Maybe, like, you know, they just don't care. So let's see what we have down in the comments here. So this guy's saying the car's going cheap for a one owner car. You know, it's always good to get a one owner car, and that'd be really cool if there was some documentation included on this. Half a minute left, $56,583. and that is by ABC. So ABC wants the car as well. We're getting down to the final stretch. Well, 57.88. So we're back to the 88s again. Well, okay. So I want to say, well, this will probably fetch about 60, even without that driving video. It just, shows off really nice. But we'll find out. Yeah, so this guy is also predicting... Oh, that's Rommel. He's predicting 60,000. Yeah, I'm predicting that as well. Last countdown has commenced. Get those bids in. Where are you at, J-Lock? Well, how was your driving video? You want some bids? You got a nice driving video. You're going to get tons of stuff on this one. Probably doesn't drive. Yeah, I mean, if you could make that conclusion. That's what Russ is saying here in the chat. Is probably doesn't drive. Starts up, right? But who knows? Maybe when you start driving, it dies. We don't know. Why not make a driving video? Why didn't the seller, right? Garage Collective this is on consignment. Why didn't the owner produce a driving video? Did they have to tow it to Garage Collective? The car is sort of like a family heirloom, right? So Chris Zimmerman saying, yeah, he totally agrees with the driving videos. Vincent. Hey, Vincent, how's it going? My driver's side cooling fan went out. Passenger side is okay. What is the easiest fix I should check for first? Well, if one cooling fan went out, I mean, I would check the wiring to it first and make sure it's not, they got disconnected somehow. You might swap so these Lucas connectors, you can swap the connectors just to see if the other one, that's the quick way of telling. If you can swap them, just to see if, it's a power issue going from maybe the fan relay, the fan fail module, somewhere in the relay compartment. Check the wiring there. You got two different wires that go, the positives, and you got the grounds. But I would swap the power leads for each of the fans just to see if it in fact is out. That will tell you, if you have a fan that's gone out. Now, as far as a quick fix, I would just replace the fans. I recommend the DPI with a stainless shroud. That's probably the best one out there as far as like a complete assembly. If you want to just swap out fans, the Toby fans are also really good. Kind of the same thing as the DPI fans, a little bit different design. They're Spall fans. I think both of them are Spalls, if I remember correctly. I have the DPI in mine. Those are Spall. I've put the Toby fans, which I think they're the same ones that DMC Houston sells as well. I've put those in another friend's car. $59,500. So we're almost at $60,000, guys. We got a definite bidding war going on here. What kind of money we up to? Well, on this one here, 60,000 nearly. So anyway, as far as Vincent, as far as your fans go, I've got a couple of videos. I support both of those types of fans. If you want to keep the original shroud, then really your only option is to replace it with, original fans. They have replacement original fans. I've seen like original style fans out there. Ooh, 60,000. We hit it. Here we are. So original style fans, some that have like 5 blades on it, stuff like that. Those are great. They push a lot of air, but they also draw a lot of amps. So you're going to have to do some electrical upgrades. There's really nothing wrong with the original factory fans. They are 40 years old, so they're not going to last forever. It's just one of those things that you're going to have to, pay attention to. You don't want to lose a fan and be out, somewhere and you're kind of stuck, right? Because you really need to have both fans running. You can probably limp to get somewhere on one fan, but yeah, you definitely need to get that addressed. The cool thing about the DPI setup, and I point this out in the video, is that you can easily replace the fans if they were to go out, because you don't have to pull the whole shroud out. You can just you know, unscrew the fans directly from the shroud, replace them really quick. It's a really quick replacement, very convenient. That is really a major plus for me in case they were to go out. Of course, I don't keep a spare around. I thought about just buying one from DPI or trying to find one online somewhere. $61,000 on this thing. So we've got some serious bidders going on here. They really want this 83. They don't care if there's a driving video or not. So whoever wins this car, and if you're watching this, reach out and once you get your car and let me know how it goes. I'm really curious to see, you know, if it drives. If they don't even say it. I don't know if Garage Collective pointed out that this car is a driving car or not in the comments. I didn't see anything. I don't see a discussion about it. Nobody even paid attention to the comment I made here about whatever happened to the driving video. So unknown. So Garage Collective is trying to sell this car. Car enthusiast interest, Hollywood interest, time traveling, Sub-Zero. Yeah, so if you're spending 60 large on a 40-year-old car, you better be flying privately. Well, I mean, they're not going to get top dollar. They'll get, you know, at 61,000, that's pretty good. You know, I mean, it's not bad, especially for having no driving video. So it appears J-Lock has surrendered his place in the auction, and he's one flight ahead. Here we go, guys. 15 seconds left. 61,000. Is somebody going to come in? Doesn't look like it. Looks like we're going to sit here at 61,000. And that's GTI Jason. Looks like he's going to win this. Oh! Somebody came in with a last-minute bid. ABC. 61.5. It's getting very interesting. Sorry, bad vision and watching on cell. Ah, yes, yes, yes. So, EXP Todd, we're at 61.5 now with 2 minutes to go. Less than 2 minutes to go here. So this is getting very interesting. It appears that J-Lock has abandoned the auction, at least according to what this guy is saying here. The Garage Collective, the seller. So we don't really know what's going on. I see if he commented. I don't see anything. So GTI Jason and ABC are kind of going. Oh, no, Navchak bid 57,000, but he did comment too. He's saying, usually I get spousal consent, but I'm sitting here on a flight waiting to take off. So why not? Now, if I actually win, I will have some explaining to do. Someone please rescue me. Somebody bid higher. We hit DMC 60 with 1 second left. Oh, 61.5. And that's ABC. 10 seconds left. 61.5. Is ABC going to get this? Is ABC going to get this car? Looks like it. Checking for last second bids. This may be it. 61.5. 61.5. Yep. ABC got it. ABC got it. So, GTI Jason, it looks like 61 was his ceiling. And ABC has landed this car for $61,500. Well, I honestly hope it runs, ABC. Let's take a look at what he's got here. And he's a lot of bids, no wins. Bid on quite a bit of stuff here. I don't know if he's bid on any DeLoreans in the... he has. So, whoa, from way back in 2020, though. So, congratulations. I hope the car works out for you. Just looking at it though, and even if it did have some issues, it's, you know, San Diego. I don't know where you're at, but you know, it's really hard to say if the car does have issues driving, what it would take to get that fixed. It's just really hard to say. But anyway, here we are, $61,500 for this car. One of the commenters here, there was a comment here that I thought was kind of interesting. So just an observation. This is from Stainless Illusion. But ever notice that the ones who babble on excessively in the comment section about fuel lines, tire date codes, which hood goes with which VIN, driving videos, are never the real bidders and buyers? Well, true to a certain degree, you know, and really trying to help, because there's a lot of bad information that is being provided by these guys who, you know, comment, hey, you know, don't change the fuel lines. You don't need to do that, right? Well, you know, I think, you know, other owners, at least I feel like I have an obligation to help new owners, at least guide them in the right direction, because the community did that for me, right? So I feel like, hey, you know, that's the proper way to do it, to help out your fellow prospective new owners, right? You want to help guide them. We're not trying to troll people or sabotage an auction or anything like that. We want to help out new owners, right? Because I've seen many folks here on Bring a Trailer and other purchases, auctions, what have you, that bought something that, you know, wasn't actually what it appeared to be. And they were very disappointed, and now they got to spend a lot more money to get it to where they thought it was, unfortunately. So yeah, a lot of us don't bid on these, right? But we're here to help at least advise those into making an informed decision. So that's really the idea there. Congrats to the seller for sure. That is a really good price, $61,500. Now, I can't type. I think this thing would have fetched closer to 70 if there was a driving video, but that's just my thing. That's just my opinion. So Chris is asking if we have any more DCS and or open house videos in the works. Yes, we do, and I do apologize. I have a backlog of videos that I'm slowly getting through. The next one is probably going to be Colleen from DCS. We got a really long video of her presenting. You know, she did 2 presentations at DCS, so we're gonna get that out hopefully soon. I know Rich was okay with what I had put together. I also have another one that I've got it pretty much finished. I just need to make a few tweaks here and there. It is the Josh Shattenkirk, where we just go out and drive his 500 horsepower LS swap DeLorean. And it's a really awesome video just to show you guys kind of how it really is, right? Driving around. It's not like staged or anything. We're just driving around in the car talking. I'm commenting about it with Josh. We're just sitting there talking. And we go through the car, you know, I go underneath it, I look inside of it, I'm pointing out stuff, right? And it's a really cool video, and I'm putting the finishing touches on it. I want to make sure it's going to be a really solid video. So hopefully I'll have time to work on that this week. I just haven't had a whole lot of time with my day job and all of that. But there are a lot more videos coming. Rich has sort of basically said, hey, let's get them out there. So that's what we're going to do. There's a few more other DCS videos. We need to figure out what we're going to do with the Zach DeLorean video. More on that later. There's a few other presenters that were at DCS. So stay tuned. We are definitely going to get more. I really wanted to start cranking them out. Unfortunately, I've just been busy with other things, and it is what it is. But I think the Colleen Booth video is going to be next, since that one is pretty much done. I just need to record an introduction to that, and I find it kind of hard because I can't find any photos of her, from her DMC days, right? There's hardly anything online. So I wanted to make something for her video. So I'll probably just put together, something short and sweet for the intro on that one. Not like I did with the other videos that I put together for DCS. And then after that, we'll probably do the LS swap, LS DeLorean videos, driving around in Josh's 500 horsepower car, which I gotta say is a pretty awesome car. Is it faster than Nick Reed's twin turbo Kia swapped Hyper DeLorean? You're just gonna have to watch the video and find out. I'm just not gonna spoil that. It's not just yet. Did you see the one? So Barnaby Bourbon. Did you see the one? Volo sold 4,000 miles Minter. No, I did not see that one. Volo, huh? Okay, I'll have to check that out. It's kind of interesting because Josh pointed that out. Volo. Maybe we can go take a look. I'm just going to search for it. 2 weeks ago. Let's see here.
DeLorean. Isn't this one of the most iconic cars there are? Of course, Back to the Future made this wildly popular. How many series did they make?
So, this is a recent one here. Let's take a look at the auction. If this is the one you're talking about, wow, look at that. Well, is this listed or did this already sell here? I don't know what's going on here. I don't really go to this website too often. Maybe I need to start looking at this. Looks like it's for sale. It doesn't say it's sold. It just says buy it now. Alright, well, make a deposit. It looks like it's available. If I can make a deposit, it should be available still. It looks good though. Looks really clean. It's got a lot of so it's very similar to this car. So what year is this anyway? This is a it's an 81. Okay, it's very clean looking. 4,000 miles. Yeah, very clean. It's got fuel lines have been addressed. That's always good. It's got a de-icer plate, which is more of an 83 kind of thing, but they put it on there anyway. So it's got a lot of upgrades. Wow, that does look clean. They want $97,000 for it. Appraised value 102. Well, that's a lot. I mean, I think you can get one from DMC for about that much, but this is really clean looking. Yeah, this is wow. Look at all these photos. Got 107 photos on this thing. Let's take a look at some of these undercarriage photos here. It looks okay. A little bit of some superficial corrosion here. It doesn't look that bad. This is very clean, though. The frame is very clean. Yeah. This is not bad at all. So I don't know. This is a lot, though. 97,000. Now, I don't know if they have any driving videos here. It's always good to have one. It is what it is. When you don't have one, it just you're just not going to bring in as much. And then on the buyer side, the winner side, it's a little bit riskier when you have that. So let's take a look at the chat before we sign off today. So the legit street cars. You know what? I haven't actually watched the video, but I was there and I met him at DeLorean Midwest when we did the open house. So he was there, so that was pretty cool. I think I've seen parts of it already. I know he's got a video on like restoring a DeLorean, like he took it apart and all that kind of stuff. So eventually I'm gonna have some time to check that out. I've just been busy with work, all that kind of stuff, and I haven't even had time to really spend on my own videos. So but I try to get these live streams going because I just like doing them. I just like looking at these cars and interacting with folks as well online, you guys out there. So anyway, I think we're gonna wrap this up. $61,500. So time travel saying a steal. I don't know. I think it's it's not a bad price. I mean, I think a couple years ago that would have been a steal when things really went up. It's got a dry ice cleaning. Okay, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, so I'll definitely check that out, Russ. Thanks for the heads up on that. I've been wanting to get to it. He's got a few videos. I don't know how many, but I remember seeing a few on there, and I think I shared one of them, and I kind of looked through it, and it looked kind of cool. So that guy does a good job with his videos for sure. So legit street cars. So I would. He was a cool guy too. I got to meet him over there at Midwest. So that was pretty cool. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks again for tuning in with us here on DeLorean Tech, and another Bring a Trailer live stream. This one sold for $61,500. Hopefully, we'll get one on a weekend and not during the week. I just happened to be off today, so I was able to do this. It worked out, but hopefully the next one will be on a weekend or maybe after work or something like that. Anyway, guys, once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next live stream.